What's up guys? If you watch my recent injury video, you'll see I've had a lot of good news about my ankle, more importantly the blood clot that was found. The ankle itself, we're not out of the woods yet. I've still got some MRI scans and some specialist meetings to see if that can be sort of brought forward any faster. But I'm now able to hobble around in my boot without crutches. So that's a big step forward, no pun intended. And on that note, I'm heading up to see Johnny. Johnny is the man behind a company called FIT4RACING, a specialist mountain biking, racing and riding, fitness, strength and conditioning company that I've used before to help me sort of get prepared for the season. He worked with me over the last off-season and this blooming lady. Just wait for her. Oh, it's going to be a long list.
Birmingham New Street, Sandwell and Dudley, Wolverhampton, they only are not valid on this train. First class.
Oh! So as I was saying before the train lady rudely interrupted me, today's going to be really fun. Actually, it's not going to be fun. I'm in a gym. I'm at the FIT4RACING headquarters. This is a place I came up to in October to meet Johnny, the guy who runs this company. It's centered around giving people that don't necessarily have loads of time the tools and the guidance to get better on their bike through strength, conditioning, fitness, and it's something that I did with him through the off-season on his online program, and it paid dividends. I came out with my best results I've ever had at enduro racing at the start of this season. And we're going to look at how, with this injury, I can get back lifting stuff, moving around, and get some of that functional strength and conditioning that I had a few months ago. The comments that I've been seeing in my injury videos are savage. Some of you are definitely going through a pretty hard time off the bike with some injuries. Some are similar to this, some are definitely far worse. So hopefully today is going to show me and show you that there are ways to stay fit, to stay strong, despite having an injury. So we'll get stuck in, we'll meet Johnny. I'm going to build up, do some 1 rep max on the bench, which you're all going to love. It's going to be a good day, and we'll see you in a minute. So this is the man himself, meet Johnny. Johnny knows why I'm here. He knows that this needs some help, or the rest of my body at least needs some help. Am I doing the right thing?
The worst thing you can do is just become completely untrained. So a good principle to think is that if you have an injury of any type, upper or lower body, then it's a way that you can work on deficit areas. So you can build strength and function around the rest of your body.
And through the day we'll be doing periodic smell tests on the boot. And just feeling that vinegar vibe, I think. Yeah.
I don't even want to.
Before and after. I might just get changed and we'll dive straight into it, yeah?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Gym kit's on, boots tight and pumped up. Johnny, what we got first?
First we've got mobility. So we're going to break up Jono's upper body ability and function into different areas. Mobility first, we're going to see how stiff he is. And then we're going to look at stability, and then strength, and then some muscular endurance. We're going to coach him through a lot of different things, so then when he goes home and follows a program specifically around his injury, he knows exactly how to perform those things and get the best out of it.
Sounds like a warm-up then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not 1 rep max yet.
No, 1 rep max at the very end after all of the prep.
So we're starting with mobility. Mobility is something I disregard a lot. I've never in my life been able to touch my toes. And Johnny's just stuck me on a little warm-up to get my shoulders moving. In fact, you can show us how good you are.
How good I am. This isn't even that good. So reasonably narrow all the way around the back, elbows locked.
Oh, I'm terrible at it. But this is important, isn't it? Would you do this before any session? Just sort of
yeah, this is a nice global stretch and a test.
Just literally open the shoulders up.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. What's next?
This is external and internal rotation of the shoulder. The goal is not to put your palm on the hand, on the wall. The goal is to get the movement through your shoulder in a strict range.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I've injured this shoulder in the past. I don't actually remember how I did it, but when I crash, it's almost like my shoulder's going to come out even before I hit the floor as I'm sort of throwing my arm out. And I've never actually done this test, and this arm can go straight back. You can probably try this at home. This is so tight, and that's exactly the sensation when I crash that I feel like it's levering the joint almost. It just pushes your chin out, doesn't it?
See, something needs to give, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's tough, like you think when you're in the gym it's how heavy can you lift, but this just probably shows that I've got other things to work on, especially while I'm in this boot.
Lifting heavy.
Over and above lifting, right?
Yeah, lifting heavy is important and having that strength, but when we're talking about function, so being a functional athlete, it goes beyond just strength.
Yeah.
So if you lack mobility and that's the weakest link, that could really compromise you as an athlete. So it's a big bang for buck area to train that might, for you at the moment, be more important than strength.
Right, you gonna help me out?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but no. Is it bad? Is it bad? Oh yeah, it's not too bad.
It'll get worse.
Yeah. Okay. This actually, if you had this at your desk, you could put the bar on your back, so the pipe on your back, as you would.
Even that for my shoulders tight.
Ooh, yeah. So say like a back squat position, and then literally keeping both butt cheeks on solid, hinge side to side.
What can people do this at home with? You could just do it
see
in a
how you
broom
do it?
handle, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. The importance is that you find an area, if you feel stiff, you feel like, oh, it's a bit cranky at the end of that, then work it.
Right.
Then the next one is a twisting. So bar, same place.
Okay.
And you're literally going to turn and look one direction without moving what's in contact on your butt.
That is terrible that way, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's, I've not really had like the shoulder's obviously an imbalance against the wall, but that's almost 90. What's that? Not even 45.
So
I mean, on
over
a bike,
time-
you think everything's pretty square on a bike, right? But
It is,
cornering
yeah.
is. It is
But again, you need,
Yeah.
if you feel looser and able, then there's a fine line between sporting performance tightness that's actually good for you. But ultimately, for mountain bikers that fall off a lot, that flexibility range allows for more basically being flung around without injury. So what we've identified here is this side is pretty funky, and by working that out to bring it up to the level of mobility you have on your other side, it'll help those imbalances.
So we're rushing through these mobility bits quite quickly. What I would say is Johnny's channel has got all of this stuff in a lot more detail, especially from today. You'll see a lot more around why the mobility is important. So we've done mobility.
We have done mobility.
Stability?
Stability. Yeah, so what we're going to look at now is improving a bit of your shoulder stability through some banded work.
Yeah.
So what we want is a mobile joint that's able to move in all directions, stabilised by the musculature around it.
Okay.
Compound big movements like bench will build the big ones, pull-ups for the lats, and rows for the upper mid-back, for everything inside, and all those little ones that you might miss because those movements don't have the range, we make up with a band. So assistance movement number one, the band pull apart. Now you don't need a lot, this isn't a strengthening movement, we don't want to max out on it. And the importance here is understanding which muscles you're working.
Okay.
So if you just pull there, let's take a look, and it might show, as suspected, that you're really up on your traps. Okay. Set your shoulders back and down, brace, and then try and put the weight into the middle of your back, like you're squeezing the hand between your shoulder blades. This way we're not creating more imbalance in these muscles that are secondary to the ones that we want to work. That's it. Okay. And these now you can feel. There's no good just seeing a movement and blasting it and be like, yes, assistance work, let's imbalance. Johnny Thompson says I'm going to fucking rock on the bike. And then you end up in this like funky position with like tight pecs and big traps, like basically the CrossFit muscles. Yeah. Instead, we want nice functioning, stable, all of the muscles around the shoulder doing their job.
Is that better?
No. sorry. Yes, a bit better. So external, internal.
Yep.
So as we did on the wall, and then two new ones. Lock down, external, internal, the other way. So we're making sure that at that end range, you're still able to put some weight through. And this is the difference between being flexible and way more bulletproof when you come off the bike. Yeah. A lot of the other movements like the bench, the pull-up, the thrusters, conditioning, that's all very good as well. But if you're really bothered about longevity and high performance, these are the additional things that do take time, but are important.
Okay.
So what we're going to do now is practice some of those muscular endurance movements that will replicate on the bike. So higher rep, tempo, shorter range push-ups,
Okay.
right? To turn some of that into explosive movements, so that then when you get back on the bike, you actually feel better than you were before because you've had time to focus on that upper body stuff.
Is that going to affect my bench? And we're going to use a lot of it.
Absolutely.
So I need to do the 1 rep max now.
So, yeah. On your warm-up set, take the bar off, hold it over you, and then shuffle your shoulders back and down, then lock that bottom rib in with your obliques, and a little twist of the bar so there's pressure on the inside of your thumb. That's what we call external rotation, that allows your shoulder to sit right in the socket. And then as you bring it down, keep your elbows in, touch on your chest, press up. Who knew bench was so complicated?
And that is my 1 rep max.
Way!
So the bar's 20.
Bar's 20, we've got
They're
10s on there, 40 kilos. This will be a good warm-up set. So, right, no ego lifts on the warm-ups. They only care about your 1 rep max. Yeah, push the blood out of your foot into your pecs. Ready? Off. Off. Yours. Last. Yeah, easy.
The foot pumps helped. It goes straight to 80.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what I like to think about when I'm maxing out is my final rep. Say I was going to do 3, you're going to do 1, so it'll be relevant on your first one. Is that when you hit your chest, thereafter, think about speed. So as quickly as you can, press up. It just changes the way that you feel about the weight. You'll crush it. Yours?
Ready?
Is that it? Push, push, yes! Oh.
We might get my body weight. Right, body weight.
Body weight, baby.
87.5.
Let's have it. Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, up. Touch and go. Push, 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 push. Yes! You've had body weight. Piece of cake.
92.5.
Yep. If you get this, I'll buy you a Subway. 3, 2,
Ready?
3, 2, 1. Up. Fucking have it. Go on. Push it, push it, push it, push, 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 push. Yeah!
Woo! Subway!
I'll be back.
Should we go?
Yeah. 5 of your 5 a day. Thank you very much.
As promised.
Eat fresh. Subway.
Legs.
Legs. They're pretty important. So Jono obviously can't work the leg that he's had an ankle injury on. So we're going to be building the other side. Once upon a time, it was believed that that would create more imbalance. But what we don't want is muscle atrophy where it's basically breaking down the muscle through inactivity. It's got good strong legs and we want to maintain that.
Let's do that then.
So let's do it from the ground up, literally.
So start with the calf.
Calf first, yeah. So the 2 options for the calf that we're going to show you today. All good. So with the band on, you get quite a consistent downward pull and it's reasonably safe. Your calves are really strong, power to weight.
Already.
Yeah. Probably because you've not done a lot for a while. What we're going to look at now is front and back of the leg, quad, posterior chain, so glutes and hamstrings. So you're literally going to sit back down onto the box and drive yourself up.
Okay. That's just going to nail the quad, isn't it?
It is.
Right.
Quad dominant movement.
I am at a disadvantage with the weight of it.
You better be able to stand up, John. This will just keep, like I said, maintenance in the muscles. So just keep you functioning well.
Okay.
And then
We're working our way up.
Single leg deadlifts, glutes, hamstrings. So your left leg's going to be on the ground, which means hold the weight in your right hand, and then try your best to hinge and balance so that your leg, torso, and everything is aligned to then come back up.
Okay, so I'm putting weight in the opposing hand.
Yeah, so that keeps everything nice and balanced. So try and square off your hips as much as you can. So see how you're kind of twisting around?
Yeah.
Try and keep it square. So imagine your hips and your shoulders create a box, 4 points of a box. So you're trying to keep aligned throughout the movement.
Is that
better? Nice.
and a big stretch?
Yeah, and then drive up.
That's 7.5 kilos, and that's pretty hard. It's more the balance.
Yeah.
And it's the balance that's hurting the muscles, you know? It's like everything's trying to keep me true.
Yeah.
I like them.
Cool. One more quick movement. I'm going to get you to stand on a plate like this. It's called a curtsy squat, and it's a much neglected area of the hip that is particularly good for mountain biking, for cornering.
Okay.
So you bring your leg behind you, and we're on a plate to give you a little bit more clearance with that boot. So you're going to come down and guide your knee down the back of your calf, all the way, to try and get it close to your heel, and then backward. So this is going to be quite quaddy as well, but it hits an area in your glute and your hip with that twisting that really keeps it supple. And then up.
Down the outside.
Yeah. You imagine that.
You're cornering, yeah.
Yeah, you feel that. If you find that difficult, what you can do is take it off a step and slide your foot out. So a little pressure on the ground obviously takes the load off.
Okay.
And it allows you to stabilise a little bit more as well.
So upper, even though it was max, kind of know what I'm doing there. Legs has been interesting. Definitely isolated muscles that I haven't felt pain in for a long time. I say pain, just sort of that burn. And what are we doing now?
Now we're going to link those together with core work. You can't really do too much core work. It's very neglected in lots of athletes. You can be as strong as you like on the top and bottom, but if you're floppy in the middle and not connected, imagine whatever's happening on your handlebars versus the next point of contact to your bike, which is your feet.
Like a set of nunchucks.
Yeah! I think I've got a set. Go on, best Bruce Lee.
Strong legs, strong upper, weak core.
You like spin it around.
I can't believe you haven't said.
You don't put any of this in.
No, it's all going in.
Are they legal? Russian twist.
Russian twist. I
Love a
know
good
these are.
Russian twist. How's that?
It is working my core a lot.
Good.
I've
Excellent.
not done this in a long time. I do like these.
Better watch this
I'm
video.
so surprised. Stuff that when we were training before would have just felt like a warm up now feels like the main effort, you know?
Yeah.
I've definitely gone a long way backwards in this downtime, but that's fine. That's why we're here,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Improve.
Yeah. Oh man, it's good.
Yeah.
Lift my top up, but everyone would switch off.
I'd turn on Jono. Right. More core. Isometric. Really important. But
What does
double
isometric
benefit.
mean? I hear
It's
that.
like not moving,
Okay.
basically.
Never asked that question.
Static. You know, like static core.
Final thing, which is more core, we're going to do static core hold. This is also going to work forearm muscles. I'm actually stealing everything Johnny's just said, which will be on
Check
this
out
video.
my channel!
Yeah, do, 'cause it'll be much more informative. But I just wanted to pass on the message, which a lot of riders probably struggle with, is I get savage arm pumps. So from gripping on the handlebars like that for ages, these pump up, fill with blood, and you lose all of your grip ability. So literally, I think we're going to do a bit of hanging, aren't we?
Hanging L holds, yes. Yeah, Jono. Yeah, you're doing it, Jono. Isometric. Means don't move. Whoa, back down. Oh no, up. Like 90, go 90.
How long would people do it for, really? Your top guys?
I'd say 30 seconds is like pushing hard. That's a very
Nearly,
good.
isn't it?
Brain could hold that good 30 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfectly 90 degrees.
Yeah, pretty much. Shaking a lot. The final part of Jono's coaching today is a little sport-specific stuff, which we're going to include in his program to keep him really good at the long descents he's going to be up against when he's back on the bike. So having that upper body muscular endurance is all well and good doing a 1 rep max bench, but we need to convert that into functional ability on the bike. So 1 rep max bench, pretty much for show. This is the real mountain biking specific stuff that we want to do. So there's a few variations. They're all going to be on knees. Because we want muscular endurance, it's no good to do 10 or 12, which would be muscle building. What we want is higher reps of replication of the strains of downhill sections.
It is like riding, isn't it? That little...
Literally, yeah, because you do this so much on the bike, we don't want you to come to a section where you've lost the ability. We've seen you with your elbows back before, when you're absolutely tired.
I do struggle with that.
And then that you lose all control.
Yeah. And you go into failure?
Yes. 3 to 5 times. 3 to 5 times
to failure.
So let's do one set of that. We're on like 500.
Yeah.
So you're gonna do that in one session, and then another session, we're gonna increase the range, but a little bit more explosive. So a little deeper, and then you're gonna push all the way up and come back down. There's more muscle engagement because of the speed. Okay. Get him, Jono! Come on, come on. Like, drive. Boom! There we go. Haven't you known he's done a heavy bench? Clip back in.
Okay. Work to be done.
This is shit to do at home, not in a public gym. Extra benefit of that is the eccentric, so resistance of.
Oh, so dropping into
load.
it.
Yeah. Eccentric, imagine on the mountain bike, you take a lot of that.
Yeah,
it's
immediate
difficult.
hits.
It's difficult to train. Okay. So the engagement of the power and then the eccentric. So we've got 3 variations of an upper body training session, which we can mix up throughout these 6 weeks.
Right. Yeah. So I've really enjoyed today. It wasn't as brutal as I thought it would be. Really cool to see that the upper body hasn't necessarily deteriorated as much as I thought it would have done. The next step is going to be getting the boot off and seeing what I can then do back on the indoor bike. I'm still quite a few weeks out from being able to ride my actual mountain bike, but a huge part of the training for the racing is on an indoor trainer bike. For me, that doesn't have loads of time. I can squeeze that in the mornings and the evenings, and it is crucial. I'd say, Johnny, the plan that we worked on into the last off-season, especially early on in the plan, was a lot of base sort of capacity riding. Zone 2, we'd say, low heart rate, long rides, which is hard to squeeze in, but it's crucial to sort of underpin that fitness element. Realistically, and I'll pitch this question to you.
Yeah.
If I'm at sort of 6 weeks out from racing with not a lot of time, is that the sort of thing I want to be doing?
Absolutely not. So zone 2 is long steady state cardio, which it has real good benefits for a foundation of fitness, like you said, but it also supports recovery for the strength phase of your training. However, when you're short of time, high intensity interval training is going to be crucial, and that will also allow more time. So when you're able to be on the actual bike, that'll really help, because ultimately you need to feel confident in your skill set as well. So interval training on the indoor trainer, that'll get your fitness level up as quickly as possible to get you ready. 6 weeks isn't a long time. If you had longer, maybe zone 2 stuff.
Okay. So realistically, when I'm out of the boot, I'll come up and see you again, and that'll be much more grueling sort of.
Yeah, that's when we can really test where you're at with your capacity elements. So we'll put you on some of the 2-minute tests again, so that then we can really put in the conditioning to condense your training and basically get you race ready as possible in that short window of time that we have. And to do that, we need to see where you're at.
All right. Well, we're going in the right direction. Yeah. And I thank you very much, big man, for having me again.
Oh, it's been
emotional. I will come back up when I can get on the bike, on the indoor bike, and that's going to be the session I'm glad today wasn't.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Over and out.
Peace.
To the belly. His belly.